Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I've just gone down like a 2-hour rabbit hole of weed. I saw some fucking skit on Instagram and it was so fucking funny. It was like 90s weed compared to today's weed, and the dudes were like chilling out, listening to music, loving each other in the 90s, and then weed now, they're like, fuck, someone's after us, like all paranoid and shit. And it got me thinking, I was like, yeah, when I first started smoking weed, it was fun, it was enjoyable, it was a nice thing, it was almost a positive thing. And then the fucking hydroponic stuff slipped in to the rotation, and that just sent me mental, and then I had to quit weed. So I was like, what is the difference between fucking weed back in the day and weed now? And obviously it's stronger, but how is it stronger? So obviously the fucking THC level is fucking way out of whack. So weed back in the day was like 6% THC, which was like good weed. Like 9% is crazy good weed back in the 90s. Now your weed, you can get like 35% THC. And it was like 5 to 6% THC back in the day. But that isn't even necessarily the fucking end of the story. What's happened over the years is the ratio between fucking THC and CBD has gone way down. So back in the day, you're like Colombian, your Afghani shit, your Northern Lights stuff. It was between like 2 to 1 ratio, like 2 parts THC to your 1 part CBD. So if it was fucking 10%, well, if it was like 6% THC, it would be 3% CBD. So like a 2 to 1 ratio. Like the Thai sticks, they reckon were like 6 to 1 ratio. So that would have been considered like the super strong weed, the Thai sticks. And now you get a ratio of around 25 to 1. Like you get this super strong THC weed, and then you get almost no detectable CBD. It's just been completely bred out. And it turns out that the CBD in the weed is sort of like, almost like an antipsychotic. It balances out the anxiety-inducing behaviors of the THC, and we've decided we don't need that. Just chuck that shit out. Just ramp up the THC and send me into a catatonic paranoia. Well, that's me anyway. I don't know about the rest of you. And then there's also these terpenes. I didn't really look into them as much, but apparently the terpenes were an important thing for the effects of the weed as well. And they've sort of been excluded from the modern day weed. And I was like, can you even fucking buy weed that was just grown in the ground? That was just in the soil getting some fucking sunlight? And you would think it wouldn't be that difficult, but it turns out it's relatively fucking difficult to find soil. It's called living soil weed and sunlight grown. And they can't call it organic because it's federally illegal weed still. But there's some farms that do it. But even these farms that do the organic weed, sun-grown organic weed, even these joints, their weed is still like 20% THC with like some CBD in it. So it's still extremely strong stuff. And so I was like, all right, that's fine, but the THC level's still way too fucking high. I'm like, can you just get an old school weed with a decent ratio of like fucking, let's say 10% THC and 5% CBD? Or even not even that, 2% CBD. Can we just get an old school 1990s or 1960s little high? Can you do that? And it turns out even that is extremely difficult to track down because that type of weed is very low yielding, low strength. And that isn't business savvy if you're a businessman. If you're a grower, you're not really in the business of growing really weak, really low yielding weed. So the incentive to fucking grow weed people can actually handle without going fucking insane is not really in it at the moment. You can track it down, but it takes serious amounts of work apparently. There's a strain called Harlequin or something like that. I think it is Harlequin. And that's about as close as you're going to get to this old school shit. And it's saying it's very hard to find. You've got to track it down, call around, figure it out, find it. And then it sent me to some fucking other farm where they're just like, forget about that. There's a hemp farm. It hasn't even got any THC. Claude's like, don't worry about it. You're going to get paranoid no matter what. Forget about it. Just go full CBD with some terpenes. And so it sent me to some fucking farm where it's no THC and just CBD and terpenes. Anyway, I'm not getting any of them, but it was a fucking rabbit hole, and it's very interesting to see how things have changed. The weed game is a completely different fucking thing now. But that can't be good. It can't be good to have bred out the CBD, which seems to be the thing that doesn't turn you insane, and then and then jacked up the part of the weed that turns you insane to an extreme volume, and then made it legal, and then just going, yeah, everyone can have it now. Just walk into the store and get these schizophrenia sticks. Have a schizophrenia stick and then I'll see ya in the street. It's wild. Anyway, fucking that'll do it for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and I'll see you the fuck later.